Congressman Subramanyam is a Democrat of Virginia. He serves on the Oversight Committee, and he joins me now. Congressman, first of all, your reaction to these documents and how you understand how they came to be public and whether it suggests to you that there was sort of an intentional cover-up before they did become public.
Oh, I think it was an intentional cover-up, and I'm not surprised because there's 2.5 million documents that haven't been released, including really key witness statements and filings and draft reports. But we also knew that some of those documents would be an effort to cover up for President Trump himself. And so we're not surprised because of the public pressure. They did release these, but it's horrific. I mean, these are very serious accusations, and I want to know whether they were investigated to the fullest extent and what investigation happened and what's happened since. But very clearly, this is part of the cover-up. And Pam Bondi, I mean, she's going to be coming before a committee soon, but she needs to be held in contempt of Congress because she absolutely did not tell the truth to Congress at that last hearing. She's been violating the law over and over again, the law that President Trump signed himself to release all the files and not protect perpetrators or alleged perpetrators. They were only supposed to protect victims, and so she should be held in contempt.
She is, as you said, there was a successful vote in your committee. I think 5 Republicans joined all the Democrats on that committee to subpoena her. It was after that subpoena that these documents then became available. Do you think that's a coincidence, or do you think there's some cause and effect there?
Oh, I don't think there's any coincidences with this administration. I think very clearly they're feeling the pressure. They're seeing that the pressure is now becoming a little more bipartisan. And, you know, frankly, in the middle of a war, that's a good time to release bad news about President Trump. And so here we are. We have some more information, but I want to learn more. I want to hear more. This investigation was not supposed to be about President Trump. It was supposed to be about the cover-ups. It was supposed to be about rich and powerful people getting away with the worst, most heinous crimes. But President Trump has made it about himself by not releasing all the files, and now we're starting to see why. And now we're starting to see the motivations behind it. It's because it makes him look really bad, and he's covering up for himself and his friends.
Ro Khanna, of course, one of the co-sponsors of the legislation that led to this information being disgorged, excuse me, sorry, says he is not confident that the panel will get answers from Bondi after the subpoena. Do you feel the same way?
I am confident we're going to ask her hard questions. Yes, I think she will try to stonewall us. She will try to deflect. But we're going to ask her really hard questions. If she lies to us, we're going to hold her in contempt or certainly try to have that vote. And regardless of whether she wants to be honest with us or straightforward with us, we're going to get to the bottom of the truth. We're going to be talking to many others in this case. We're also going to be subpoenaing the banks for financial statements and following the money. And so she can continue to try to stonewall, continue to try to violate the law, lie to Congress, and perjure herself. But we will get to the bottom of the truth either way.
So in terms of getting to the bottom of it, I'm curious what your perspective is on the allegations contained here. I mean, there's one interview that's primarily about, this woman says, Jeffrey Epstein. I should say that she actually didn't realize it was Jeffrey Epstein, she says in these interviews, until she saw a picture, a friend forwarded her a picture of Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. That was what kind of unlocked that the person that she says she remembers as abusing her repeatedly when she was a teenager, whose name was Jeff and she didn't know the last name, was in fact Jeffrey Epstein. It was only later, after that first interview, that she talks at all about her accusation against Donald Trump. Like you said, I mean, what next with these? I mean, it just seems a little weird. I don't know how to run this to ground or to vet, but it seems rather important to me to figure out whether this is true or not to the best that anyone can tell.
Part of the problem with this entire investigation was that the FBI, the DOJ, the government covered up for a lot of these crimes. They did not actually do full investigations like they should have, not just into the sex trafficking, but also the financial crimes, all the other things he was doing. His ties, it looks like he had ties now to mafias and gangs, and the DEA was investigating him. We don't know what happened to that investigation. So there's just so much to uncover here, and it shows why people have stopped trusting our government and institutions. It's because they weren't working and they were protecting protecting the richest and most powerful people. And this administration has been no different despite campaigning on change.
Congressman Subramanyam, who is on that oversight committee, Democrat. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Still to come, new reporting on who is responsible